Alright, so it's already week 2. It was a quick week. Maybe for you, but it was kind of quick for me. Anyway, this was a high number of steps week because this is basically the week of getting stuff ready for Black Friday, or it was the week for getting stuff ready for Black Friday, and a lot of walking, longer hours, so gonna be pretty fun times. Let's jump into Sunday. Actually, my week started on Sunday this time because I had to take an extra day for the person that quit that I talked about in some video on my gaming channel, or I talked about it in the last video. Someone quit and I have to take hours from him because he quit. He basically walked out on the job and never came back, so after about 3 days they fired him. I'm sure they knew before that, but regardless, I had to take his Sunday this week, and I don't think I had to take a day last week. Let me check. Oh no, I did have to take a day last week. I had to take Tuesday from week 1. So this week I actually had to take Sunday. So Sunday is usually the beginning of the sales week, meaning stuff goes on sale Sunday, so it's a little bit busier. So it was a non-truck day. There was no truck. It was 12 to 8, which is a horribly crappy schedule. It's the entire day. So it was an 8-hour shift, and I left on time. I don't think I stayed late any time this week. There was 34,057 steps that day, which is a lot. That's the beginning of the sales week. You're going to be walking around a lot getting stuff for people. And the next day I worked was Monday. It was double truck, just a double truck day, but for whatever reason it was the lowest steps of the week. I worked 9 to 4:30, so it was 7.5 hours, and it was 29,080 steps, which almost broke 30, just scraped it. And the next day wasn't too high either, comparative to the other 30,000 days, but almost scraped 30,000 that day. That's still a lot of steps in one day to take. Had the day off Tuesday, and then I worked Wednesday. There was really no anomaly that day. It was 9 to 4:30 again, which seems to be fun times for all. Before it started to get busy, the general opener, like that would be opening for my department, would either work like 9:30 to 2:30, 9 to 2:30, 9 to 3:30, 9:30 to 3:30, or 9:30 to 3, like, you know, stuff like that. It never really went to 4 or 4:30, but now it is. Before you'd work maybe 5.5, 6.5 hours. Now it's 7.5, pretty much constantly. But anyway, this day was the second lowest of the week, just barely beating out the previous day, which was Monday. This was 29,185 steps. The next super awesome, happy, fun day was Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. The start of the 2-day sale where shit was on sale like none other. We had 30-something inch TVs for like $230. We had $3 appliances, like there was $3 toasters and stuff. There was a lot of crap on sale. When I walked in that day, the line was seriously like wrapped around the store. It was ridiculous. There were people like guiding traffic in and stuff. It was crazy that day. Basically I worked 9 to 5:30, which is an 8.5 hour day, and I took 35,557 steps. This would have been the highest walking day had I not had a longer day the week before. Me working 12 to 9:15 that one random Saturday last week boosted me above what the average should have been because I had to work an extra hour and 15 minutes. But actually I think Saturday, the day after this one, would have been the highest walking day if I had worked even more than what I had to. But it was Black Friday, there was stuff on sale, people were crazy. There was just a lot of stuff on sale. A bunch of games were like $30, $40. New games too, like new games or newish games. So I walked a lot, 35,557 for Black Friday. And we come to a close, which was today. I had to work 2:30 to 10, which is a 7.5 hour shift. I got to sleep in, but I had to stay late. This was the second and last day of the 2-day ad, which started on Black Friday, so it was Friday and Saturday, and that's when all the stuff was on sale. It was a truck day. It was a truck day both days, actually, I think. Yeah, I think it was a truck day both days. But Saturday, second day of the 2-day ad, I think this day would have actually been my highest walking day had I worked 9 hours and 15 minutes, or at least 8.5 hours. Because in 7.5 hours, I walked 33,185 steps, and I think if I had worked another hour, that probably would have beaten Black Friday, and possibly it would have definitely beaten Black Friday if I worked another hour. But if I had worked maybe another hour and at least 9 hours and 15 minutes, if I had worked what I had worked last Saturday, this probably definitely would have been the highest day. But because it was only a 7.5 hour day, it really doesn't count. So 33,185. That pretty much closes it up. I'm gonna do a little summary here. Alright, so here's something fun I did in Excel. This was from week 1 actually. This was the chart. It's a little more impressive than the week 2 chart, which is basically like a straight line that really doesn't move a lot. But this one's a little bit more into it. The first 2 days were pretty low, and I'm guessing these weren't as accurate because it was with a less expensive crappier pedometer. But then I got the new one on Friday, and then that's probably pretty accurate, and then just exploded into like 30 something. That was the day. This was the day that I worked 9 hours and 15 minutes. That Saturday, and that's where that huge jump comes from. But now I'll show you the week 2 chart. And this was the week 2 chart. Not as impressive with a line, but as you can tell, they were pretty much almost all over 30,000, or at least on the brink of it. And this is basically what 3, 6, 9, 12, 150,000 steps. That's pretty close to 150,000 steps there. Just, you know, rounding it all to 30,000, which is a lot of steps actually. When I was screwing around on the internet, looking at like, you know, these conversion things, I had gone to this thing that pretty much told me that the average stride of someone my height would be like 2 feet 4 inches, and if I multiply that by the amount of steps I took, I was walking, I think, 17.5 miles a day on that one Saturday where it was like 37,000 steps. That was like 17.5 miles I had walked that day. Unfortunately, I don't walk full stride all the time because there's a lot of shuffle steps. So I screwed around with the numbers, and I think I went down to like 1 foot and 1.5. And it's still like, you know, it still showed me like over 10 miles in that day. So I'm walking quite a bit at this job. You know, 10 miles a day, that's a lot of walking to get some work done. And that's all in like just a tiny little, well, it's not tiny, that's all within the same square, really. It's just walking around the store all day. So that's the end of week 2. Let's see what week 3 brings us with not as many hectic sales, and we're getting a little closer to Christmas, but that should probably die down. I'm guessing the week right before Christmas is going to spike up, but I don't think I'm going to be doing this at that time, or at least not making videos about it.